Hey everybody, it's Jason from the Texas Gun Vault 2, and we're back out here in the garage for another Garage Gun Talk. And I think I got kind of a controversial and spicy take on something. You guys know that some people refer to me as a negative Nancy, and that is because I think I'm a realist when it comes to our Second Amendment rights. And I try to think 3, 4, 5 steps ahead, where many pro-gunners think 1 step ahead. So before we talk about that, I have everything out here in the garage set up to record 2 videos in the morning between my students that I teach over the summer, which I am very blessed. I have a lot of students this summer on Mondays, Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays, but I gave myself Fridays off, which are going to be primarily Texas Gun Vault Fridays. Well, of course, I work on the weekends too. And tomorrow I have 2 videos set up. So I've already edited the footage and done the bullet point scripts for the Gearson 2311. This is the first one that's going to get filmed in the morning after I wake up, take a shower, and wait for my CPAP lines to go away. Yes, I have to sleep with a CPAP. But wait for those to go away, and then I'll be able to film this. And then right after that, I'm going to film the range report on the Infinity Encore. So we have those 2 2011 pistols getting filmed tomorrow, and then I'll start work on the comparison video. But I got all the scripts written, I got everything set up, camera ready to go. All I got to do is come out here and film, and then go inside and edit it and put it together. But let's talk about some gun news. We haven't really talked a lot about gun news, and I've been kind of thinking about one of the things that a lot of people used to like on my older channel before it got taken down was the This Week in Gun News segment. I made like 150 of those things. I still have them all, but they're not worthy of putting up because it's all like old news. But 2 things happened in the world of gun news recently that I want to address. Well, I guess really, I guess it's 2. One is the Supreme Court not taking up that assault weapons ban case, but I talked about that in a previous video. But tonight I wanted to talk about the Supreme Court shooting down, I guess it's kind of a pun, the Mexican government when it came to them trying to sue gun companies here in the United States, claiming that they're the reason there's so much cartel violence south of the border. And I was amazed to see that even the liberal justices who are very anti-gun voted with Justice Thomas and Gorsuch when it came to saying, no, you can't do this. That was absolutely amazing. You know, when the Supreme Court says something 9-0, it's kind of a big deal. And sometimes it sheds a little bit of light on the fact that the justices can be unbiased and non-political. Sometimes they can. It's kind of weird. You would think 1 or 2 of the very liberal justices would have said, you know what, they can because, and they'll find some type of weird reasoning and loophole and that kind of thing. No. That was really interesting, especially for American sovereignty and the Protection of Lawful Commerce and Arms Act. I couldn't believe it. That was the big news today. So I guess in my last video, I talked about how disappointed I was with the Supreme Court. But today I'll say, hey, they did something good. So I don't know. It's not as good as them taking up the assault weapons ban case, but I guess we'll take what we can get. Now, here comes the negative Nancy in me. Now, I have been following, actually, I'm really excited about the possibility, I don't know if you guys are as well, about the passage of the, I guess they call it the Big Beautiful Bill, which every time I hear people talk about that, I laugh. I laugh so much because it's such a Trumpism that they've included it in the name of the Big Beautiful Bill Act, which I'm not a big fan of omnibus bills. And I guess right now there's kind of like a MAGA civil war going on between him and Elon Musk. I don't know what the falling is. I don't care. But the inclusion of the repeal of suppressors from the NFA, as far as I can tell, and I follow this stuff every single day. I go to like the congressional websites. I go to all the news sources. As far as I can tell, it's still in the Senate bill, which is amazing to me. I kind of thought when the House passed it, it would go to the Senate, it would be stripped in a committee, and then they pass the bill without that, And then in the conference committee where they have to reconcile everything, it just wouldn't get included again. And that's when I thought it was going to happen. The Republicans said they did their best and they couldn't get it through. But lo and behold, as of right now, as the bill has gone through certain committees, they've had certain debates on it, it's still in there. I mean, I'm blown away right now. Like right now, it might actually pass. It might actually be in there. I can't believe it. I don't know if it's the Democrats not noticing it or there's just people in power that are, I don't know what's going on. I don't know what's going on. So I'm excited about that, and I think a lot of you are as well. But here's the negative Nancy in me. I actually think there's a possibility if we get suppressors removed from the NFA, it's going to be a negative thing for the Second Amendment in the future. Now, in the short term, humongous win, okay? Humongous win. But I was talking to my wife today about this, and I said, tell me what you think. And she kind of agreed with me. Anytime you open Pandora's box, it can be used against you. So in the Senate, we used to have the filibuster rule for all judicial appointments. And during the Obama administration, the Republicans had enough votes that they were holding up judicial appointments in the Senate. So Harry Reid suspended and got rid of the filibuster rule for non-Supreme Court justices and everyone else. So I guess the Supreme Court still had the filibuster rule, but everybody else could just be a simple majority. And they did that thinking, we're going to show the Republicans. Well, guess what happened when Trump got into office and the Republicans controlled the Senate? Well, the Republicans started to use that rule against the Democrats, and of course they flipped a lid, right? Oh my God, you can't do this. It's going against press. It's like, no. You open Pandora's box, and now you have to live with the new rules. You're probably asking, where am I going with this? So hear me out. The NFA, which has been, for the most part, in effect since 1934, the only amendments to it have been very small, like changing rifles from 18 inches to 16 inches and the change of the tax stamp from $200 to $5 for any other weapons, which I think happened in don't quote me on this, 68 with the passage of the 68 Gun Control Act. I want to say there have not been many changes. Also the Firearm Owners Protection Act with the passage of the Hughes Amendment. They really haven't touched it. The taxes remain the same. From 1934, it was $200, which I guess equivalent was $3,400. Today, it's just $200. They've never touched it. Republicans would always say, oh yeah, we're going to go in there and repeal it or get rid of it. They never do. It's always been an election talking point. And the Democrats have always feared messing with it because they know it's in place. There hasn't really been a problem with it. They get tax revenue from it. They get their registration. But if they add to it or change it in any way, it hurts them politically because now they're anti-gun. They like to talk being anti-gun, but when it actually comes to the rubber hitting the road, it never really comes to fruition because they all know they have to go back to their states or jurisdictions or wherever, their districts, and have to get reelected. So I worry the Republicans amending the NFA to remove suppressors is going to open a Pandora's box. For the very first time, we are going to dramatically change the NFA and makes a category of items that have been restricted for 91 years, as I'm filming this, into something that you can just get with the 4473. Honestly, suppressors are not firearms. I don't think they should even be on 4473s. They're just accessories like a muzzle device or whatever. But it looks like they're just going to go to being a 4473 Title I firearm. So if we open Pandora's box, I fear that in the future, and trust me, there's always an ebb and flow to politics. There will be a Democrat president in the future. There will be a Democrat-controlled House and Senate in the future. if we open this Pandora's box and something happens, which inevitably it will, in a country of 344 million people, okay, something's going to happen, okay? We're going to have another mass tragedy event, and potentially, you have to admit it, even though it's used very little, if suppressors do become Title I firearms, there's a potential that they will be used in crimes in a higher number. So then when we have a Democrat president, a Democrat Congress, they're going to say, along with them trying to roll back everything Trump's done, pass all these laws, open our borders to anybody, they're going to say in their big, beautiful bill, or whatever they call it, they're going to fix what they did in the past. And they're going to say at first, we're going to add suppressors back to the NFA because it worked great for 91 years. And while we're at it, since the Supreme Court didn't allow them or didn't hear the case on assault weapons, by what, that's their term, not mine. Since they say it's okay for Maryland to have this, now we're going to create a whole new category on the NFA and call them assault weapons. We're going to add those. And while we're at it, you know, that $200 tax hasn't changed in, 91 years. It's time to up that to $500, $1,000, or put it back to where it was at $3,400 and tie it to inflation. Wow. Because they'll now have the gumption and they'll now have the political willpower to do it because the Republicans opened Pandora's box and allowed suppressors to be removed. Now, I am 100% for the complete repeal of the NFA. I know some of you are saying, oh my God, he's saying don't do it. I'm not saying that at all. I'm actually really excited because I can tell you, as if that passes and the man, I'm going to get a few, okay? I'm going to. Of course, I know a lot of you are as well. There's probably going to be a huge run on them, but man, I'm like licking my chops because there's a few out there, and it's not that the $200 tax is the problem or the weight anymore. It's just the paperwork. It's just annoying, and that's the whole point of it. It's just the paperwork. You're like, oh, I got to go submit the fingerprints. It's a slow process, and this, and oh man, we live in a world of instant gratification. You want things now. And so that's kind of the way I feel about NFA items. I want to go into if the NFA was where, okay, they already got you on file. I already own a bunch of suppressors. So what's one more going to change? They should just be able to look me up in the system. I pay a $200 tax and they go, oh yeah, just take it home, right? But that's not the way the system works, and on purpose. So I want it all repealed, but I fear it's going to give the Democrats a way to have a backlash on gun owners in the future. And I'm curious what you all think. Because we all know, as I said, if suppressors become more available, transferred on 4473s, you can make them at home with, just because they're just like firearms and you can make firearms at home. They're not regulated, they're going to be used more in crimes. It's just the way it is, right? Like, that's why handguns are used so much in crimes, because they're available. And that is not an argument to ban them or put them on the NFA. It's, why do a lot of drunk drivers drive Toyotas, for example? Because Toyotas are available. And of course, they do it in every car, but you guys get my point here. And they're going to, tug on the heartstrings of the uninformed, the ignorant, the people that are the fence sitters on the Second Amendment, and they're going to say the evil Trump administration made suppressors legal. Oh my God, now they're the tools of assassins. We're going to go back in and we're going to fix the NFA. Who knows? Maybe they'll pass a bill called the Fix the NFA Act, where they add suppressors, add assault weapons, raise the tax, make the ownership even more, difficult. And they'll finally have the motivation and the political willpower to do it because the Republicans opened Pandora's box. Do you guys know what I'm saying? I know I'm a negative Nancy. And I'm not saying this because I want it not to pass. I want it to pass. I want more. I want the Short Act passed. I want the Hughes Amendment repealed. I want the whole NFA gone. okay? But I'm also pragmatic and I'm practical. And it's why I make fun of all the people in the comment section that are always like, I will not comply. The ATF can't create law, shall not be infringed. I'm like, I get it, guys. I get it. But what's practical, right? You can scream to the high heavens. It doesn't make it fact, okay? It doesn't make it real, okay? So tell me your thoughts. What you guys think? Am I overreacting, or am I being practical and thinking 5, 6, 7 steps down? Like, let's say, obviously, with Trump in the White House, it would never pass, even if the Democrats took control of Congress in 2 years. However, where are we going to be in 5 years, 6 years? I mean, Trump's done after this term, right? Someone else is going to be president. And the political pendulum swings back and forth. And so Trump will be in office now, and of course there's going to be a huge backlash, and all those Democrats are going to be motivated to vote. And they'll be doing certain things in certain states to make sure that pendulum comes back. And if they get control, they're going to be just as eager to exploit their new power as the Republicans and mainly Donald Trump are now. So what do you guys think? Do you guys see my perspective in where the potential is, in the short run, we win? Because trust me, there are some suppressors I'm going to go out and buy. Man, the day that thing is signed into law and the NFA on suppressors is repealed, if it is, okay, fingers are crossed, I know I am running down to my local big box store that sells some of the nicest high-end ones. I'm going down there. I'm like, I'm getting one. I'm getting more. I'm gonna be like, okay, load up this 4473. I'm bringing them home. But 5 years from now, 6 years from now, will we see the pendulum swing and a backlash that we have never seen before? Will we see categories of firearms, hell, all firearms, put on the National Firearms Act? Because they're in control. They have to stop the epidemic of gun violence. And we open Pandora's box. And will we reap what we sow? Politics is a chess game. It's not something that you just win and it's permanent once it happens. It can change, ebb and flow. Things can be repealed, things can be changed. And once you break certain norms, certain traditions, because the NFA has been untouchable for so long. We're touching it now. What's going to happen in the future, and will we have unintended consequences? I actually think we will. I think if we pass this, it does pass, we'll be happy for a short time. And I would say the probability of major gun bans, major firearm legislation in the future rises exponentially. Very quickly in the short term. Not in Trump's term, but especially if a Republican does not succeed Trump, you're going to see major backlash. So tell me your thoughts. Have you thought about this yourself? Have you contemplated this? And are you like me, as an INTJ on the Myers-Briggs personality type indicator, webbing out the future, seeing what's ahead, and calculating possibilities? Because I know I am. And I know some of you are going to say, I'm a negative Nancy, but I'm just being a realistic. So tell me in the comment section, and if you watch to the end of this video, the word of the day is, I know a lot of you think I'm going to say negative. I'm not going to say negative or Nancy as the word of the day. The word of the day is going to be Pandora. Pandora is the word of the day, because will we open Pandora's box? And once Pandora is out, we can't put her back in. So, as always, thanks for watching.